CV length. Let's talk about CV length. How long should your CV be? Well, my Middle Eastern CV is 7 pages. That's one page summary and then 6 pages of detail. And that's just how I've learned that many individuals prefer when they're hiring a profile like mine. They like flicking through, okay? But in saying that, I say that just as a crazy example. Typically speaking, in United Kingdom, we are expecting two-ish, okay? Now, some companies, when they're hiring for graduates, will very, very specifically say 1 page. Now, I do wonder, and I have had colleagues say the reason that they're asking for 1 page only from graduates is because they're getting thousands of applications and they don't want more than 1 page to have to look through. But look, I think there is a school of thought, and there are many hiring managers who have a view that says, come on, you can say it in 1 page. Yes. So when you're junior in your career, 1 page is typically a good idea. Often because the hiring processes or policy is we're expecting 1 page. Sometimes that 1 page, I have heard commented that we want it in 1 page because actually if you're junior and it's your first role, it's your degree apprenticeship application or your graduate role, there isn't typically that much experience to be said. So 1 page is, yes, a very good strategy. Once you're in career in the United Kingdom, I would suggest that 2 pages is okay, is fine. 2 pages typically is about right. Now I'm saying 2-ish, so you can skip over, right? You can move over onto the 3rd page if you see fit, right? Now, there are a whole host of exceptions and approaches here. There is nothing wrong with you submitting a 4-page CV, 5-page CV, right? It's just about the attitude of the person receiving it. Now, sometimes when it's 5 pages, the individual reading it might go, wow, right? And if they've printed it out, they're going to go, well, oh my God, look at what they've done. Look at this. This is right. Okay, so they might, you can create an impression in someone's mind. Often for very domain-specific CVs, architecture, for example, you may have your 1-pager or your 2-page, and then there might be some more details, project details, just because that's relevant for that role, or because the domain or that industry or that type of profession are expecting a bit more detail. So remember, it's selling you. This CV, this Word document, or this document is selling you. So we want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. If someone is going to click, right, they're going to see your name and then go, oh, okay, click. Or they see your application, they click, and up comes a CV, typically on screen. The first half is probably going to be seen, right? The way that pages are formatted means that it's this bit that they're going to see on screen, typically, right? Just because we use portrait as a layout, so you're going to see that first bit. Can you make sure that key information is there, right? But they are expecting at least 1 page, if not 2+. If you're mid-career, I think it's fine to go on to 3. Two pages, and then maybe some of the background, some of the context for you is going to be on page 3. Now, what I mean by that is we might have a big meaty section about your current role, and then another meaty one about your second most recent role, and then on to page 2 we might be getting bang, because so we're seeing how your career has progressed. We're seeing your background. This is what you're doing now, but you've come from this industry, and then it's natural. In my view, it's natural where often you're going on to the 3rd page with a little bit more, a few other roles, and then some educational details, and then something else, for example, right? So it's perfectly fine to go on to multiple pages. Equally, it's perfectly fine to have 1 page. Now, in different markets, there are different expectations. You might find in the US, it's a 1-page profile. Again, everyone has a very particular view, okay? And as you're asking around, and I would encourage you to ask around, you'll get very direct perspectives from people. And they're usually very definite, right? It must be. I throw them out if they're not 1 page or 5 pages or whatever. In different markets in the Middle East, often they're looking for detail, often, but not always, right? Then in Europe, sometimes it's brevity. But you'll encounter managers and hiring managers with very, very different views, very different views. So you can't please everybody. So therefore, I would suggest what's going to work for you. If you're early in your career, you probably want a one-pager. And that can be appreciated and understood because you're early in career. But we'll come to this, right? We want the detail in there. Sometimes I see individuals delighting in the view they've only got to do 1 page. And I mean do. So I've only got to do 1 page and I've managed to kind of squeeze in and put all my stuff over here. I've made it font size 6. I've made it right. Don't do that, right? I've got to be able to read it, okay? But yeah, and then I've just done three bullet points on my most recent experience. Now that can be enormously frustrating that you've stuck it all onto 1 page, because if we're looking to hire someone who's good, your 3 chosen bullet points, we'll come to this, right? Your 3 chosen bullet points might be enormously frustrating because you're not telling me this, that, or the other. And I may therefore be going, I don't think that candidate's right. Okay, so length, there is no right answer. I think I can be saying in the UK, yeah, let me have a think. I reckon 2.5. I'm just thinking and saying, can I be held accountable? I think 2.5 is valid. So if you're in career, 2 and something is fine, right? That's my view. You can go longer if your particular profession requires it. If there's a standard that you would put in a lot more information or you have accompanying perspective, I think that's okay. But remember, you are going to be judged. Some people can get away with one pager, and in some cases, some people love a 1 pager. You might argue that the front page, the first page, is the one that's going to sell you. But often we want the second plus pages because that's giving us the context. So often for those going into more senior managerial roles, we want to know what your background was. Where do you come from? And what was that like? So sometimes of course, on the front page, we're wanting the detail of where you are today. How amazing are you, right? But where did you come from? And then so that second page is really where we're hoping for the context. And sometimes if the context is going on to page 3, that's all right. So look, there you go. I think if you're ultra junior, if you're just starting, 1 page, perfectly fine. We'll come to what we expect in that 1 page in just a minute. But for anyone moving into after the second or third rollout of university, for example, I think it's fine to be giving more details. So certainly 2 pages. On TikTok Live, I'm constantly saying, look, give me more. Give me more. And individuals will then come back and say, no, I'm trying to keep it to 1 page. Why? Right? Because if I'm interested in hiring you for a considerable sum of money as well, I'm probably going to want the detail. Okay, so I often want more than just that 1 page. The risk with 1 page, by the way, because everything can be summarized onto a page, right? Everything can be. The risk with that 1 page is you don't give me enough detail. For junior roles, we just infer, right? Okay, yeah, and the more you can say about your experience, the better in that 1 pager. For more mid-level and beyond, where we do want to know how good you are. So that's what's guiding me on that 2-page-ish. Every country has a different approach. Every company will have a slightly different approach. And in some cases, it's the divisional director that says, no, I only want to see 1 page, or I have a policy of 2 pages maximum, right? And often that is going to be communicated to you, right? So if there is a limit on the job application process, it will say, please, no more than 1 page. Please, no more than 2 pages, for example. Okay, let's get moving.